snap in on a big play. Navarro back to pass, steps up, sacked. They'll mark him back at the 28. Still a field goal opportunity. Jordan Norman, redshirt freshman out of a hotbed of talent, Hoover, Alabama, with the sack.
There was a lot of twisting and stunning up front. Looked like there was a breakdown in protection.
Yep, excited about the game this Thursday. Obviously, it was a disappointing loss at Ohio. Had our opportunities, had our chances. Did see some growth and some development from the team in a loss, but like we talked about on Monday morning, or excuse me, on Sunday afternoon, you know, you don't accept losing. We've got to learn from these mistakes, and they need to result in wins. But I did see some growth, some resiliency, some next man up. You know, we had a couple corners out, had a back out, had a quarterback out. Saw people step up in those 4 roles and make plays, but at the end of the day, you're playing a good team on the road at their house. We got to have better execution going into halftime and coming out of half. And then when you got an opportunity, you got to make plays in those last couple drives to go tie the ball game or take the lead. But that's obviously behind us on a short week. It's a little bit of a benefit having a short week. So back to work this morning. Last night we had a little jog through. This morning we went out there and practiced. So it's good to see our guys fly around and get ready for Thursday night.
Questions? Yeah. What does Gio have to show to be able to be back?
You know, good enough movement, you know, enough health, you know, to where he can protect himself. And the doctors need to have, you know, they have a little say in it too, in terms of just what they think and, you know, the reality of his mobility, health, overall longevity, being able to play on that for more than just 5 minutes. You know, there's a lot of things that go into it, and you know, I take a lot of input from him and from the doctors.
Bam didn't play either. What's his steps?
I think he'll be back this week.
For those who haven't dealt with it, how tough is a turf toe injury, especially, I guess, especially at that position?
You know, I'm kind of, I've never had a turf toe, and I've never pulled a hamstring. I've never run fast enough or been tough enough to have either one of those. So I have no idea. I have to ask people who are. You know, some people have had really bad turf toes that involve actual breaks of the bone, or you know, I'm learning all this. Trust me, I'm not a doctor, but there's broken bones, stretched tendons. There's degrees of it. You know, there's degrees of it. And so that's obviously goes into the decision to not play last week in terms of, you know, is it going to be a lot worse? You know, so those are the things that we're monitoring, you know, in terms of his health.
What did you see for Bishop overall?
You know, about what we were saying earlier is just I thought he did a good job of managing the game, you know, getting in plays, motions, getting us in the right protections, making sure the right things were, you know, people were lined up correctly. You know, as a quarterback, there's always going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 throws that you want back. But I thought he did a great job, you know, in a situation where he's not quite sure early in the week, and then as we get later on in the week and we can kind of get a health report and kind of figure out what really is, I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good enough job to help us win the ball game. You know, now we had those last 2 series that we didn't like. You know, just our overall execution. That wasn't just Bishop execution. That was our overall execution as an offense in those last 2 series. But, you know, in terms of playing clean, you know, we had one ball where we got out of the pocket and we threw it to him. We were fortunate enough to get that back on a, you know, roughing the passer, but made good decisions with the ball. You know, and that's what you need to do in that role. And I think he'll even be more prepared for his next opportunity to go in and play, whenever that may be.
Do you lean more on the running game with an inexperienced quarterback?
I think, you know, well, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, if you lean on the run with a backup quarterback, then there's a good chance you may be playing your third team quarterback. But there is you know, you can't hand it off to the tailback. You know, there's that guy back there, so you can lean on the tailback runs too.
On kickoff returns, it's
Decision making.
kind of the thought process of
Decision
catch
making.
and should have run it back.
Yeah, we got to execute decision making. You know, I know it's first play of the game. We're getting the ball, but if our feet are in the paint, fair catch. So we just need to, you know, execute.
What did you see from the defense that may have improved?
Well, we got stops. They punted the ball. You know, that was positive. You know, we didn't do what we wanted to do in terms of stopping the run. That was the number one thing. That was the head of the snake, and they ran for 200 yards. So I mean, that is in the end was what, you know, was the thing that broke the camel's back in terms of the last drive. I mean, you saw that's. But in terms of being on top of explosives, I know they had one on a freshman before the half, but in terms of being on top of routes, I thought our tackling was better. It's still not where we want it to be. We need to play more on their side of the line of scrimmage up front, but I saw marked improvement in terms of just alignment, being in the right place. Some of our tackling was better, but we need to play better against the run.
With the weather projected like it is, does it alter how you approach it or how you prepare this week and alter maybe your offense?
I mean, in Mobile for home games, we're always going to have wet ball drills during the week. You live on the Gulf Coast, it could pop up at any time. So we'll take periods of practice, not the whole practice, because if it doesn't rain, you still have to have quality of practice. But we'll take a period here or there, wet the balls down, make sure that receivers, backs, centers, everybody's used to handling a wet football. Do the same thing in the return game. Make sure our kick returners, punt returners, and those guys, snappers, typically they get a dry ball going out there on a new play. But we'll work all those type of situations to make sure our guys are, comfortable handling a wet football.
What did you say of Bishop in his first real action?
I thought he played well. I mean, at times, there's probably 4 or 5 plays that we like to have back. I think certainly, though, I could have helped him in those a little bit more. But he went out there and competed. I think played the game in a way that exemplifies what we want here. I mean, he played with toughness. He played with poise. He was certainly committed to the cause. Really proud of him. Certainly wanted to win the game, but to be put in that situation, there was no flinch, and did a lot of really good things.
And you never know, but you always want those backups to get that meaningful rep. So, I mean, down the road, how big of a deal is it, the fact that he was able to play in the Ohio game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I mean, I think there's some things you try everything you can to simulate what it's going to be like in a game with practice and scrimmages, but at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play, especially at that position. So it is going to pay dividends moving forward for him and for us. So he wanted to win the game. We all wanted to win the game, but I think he does understand that there's a lot of things positively we can take away from that, and I think he understands just a few of the things that we got to clean up.
The running game seemed like it got going at times, but you guys obviously got behind by 2 scores, maybe couldn't run as much as you wanted.
Yeah, probably that'd be the one thing that maybe we could have stuck with that just a little bit more. It's always trying to look at what I could have done better, first and foremost. We had just a couple of times I felt like in the first half we kind of had it going a little bit. We were backed up a couple of times. I thought we did a good job of moving, and then we kind of shot ourselves in the foot there when we got to midfield and kind of put us in a situation where we kind of had to throw the ball. I think I could probably help us with that and try to maybe get us something different so we don't have those negative plays. So, but really pleased. There's probably 1 or 2 things we missed in the run game, but saw some good stuff versus a team that they're certainly tough to run the ball on.
Anything else? Northwestern State, what are you looking at?
Well, really another unique challenge. You look at it, started the season off with a kind of the Iowa State, Rocky Long, 3 safety defense. Last week was, 4 down, 1 gap penetrators, a lot of twist. And, this week we're going to be playing odd 3 stack. So certainly 3 weeks of, really unique defenses. So big challenge this week. They really have improved. You could see it in the first 2 weeks. They got a really active D-line, and they are really, really physical at linebacker, and they have a lot of athletic people in the secondary. So, we got our hands full. They've kind of probably been a play here, play there for making life pretty tough for their opponents. And you can see kind of from week 1 to week 2 some of the improvements that they made. So we got a challenge. Our players know that. We're going to have to be ready to play.
Yeah, good growth. I thought we fought for 4 quarters. I'd like to have the 2-minute drill before the half back, me personally. I thought we could have helped out. You got a freshman corner out there who's playing his tail off, and I could have helped him a little more with the calls, and so that one's on me. I wish I could have that one back. But just the fight for 4 quarters, the resiliency, there was, a lot of grit out of our guys on the defensive side of the ball. Was really pleased with, it was good to get the first takeaway of the season, with Tyler Thomas getting that sack and Carlos recovering the fumble. Those things are always great. The more times you can take the ball off of them, and we took it off of them and gave the ball back to our offense with a chance to go score there. And we just got to continue to fight and continue to grow, and we got to be a better team or a better defense, more importantly, Thursday than we were Saturday. And if we continue to make the right steps, we're going to be just fine.
Did you see the confidence grow from game 1 to game 2?
Yeah, you see the confidence grow as guys make plays. That's what, and that was the message going into the game, was play with more passion and energy and urgency every series. So play with drive 2, play with more than drive 1, drive 3 more than drive 2, and then as you start to make plays and we got a couple of 3 and outs there in the middle, if you feel that's contagious, and I think, the hard part was it was 10-10. We get that middle 8, the old adage as coaches, that middle 8, and you'll probably hear that. And, we gave up that drive at the 2-minute, then we come back out and they have the long touchdown drive in the third quarter. And by the time the offense leaves the field, it's 10-10. The next time they touch the field, it's 24-10, and that can't happen. And we've got to clean that up. And we've talked to our guys about starting and finishing, and how it's about how you start and about how you finish. And if we can finish the second quarter and start the third quarter, then we got a chance to win that ball game.
Also, Jordan Norman showed up, made some plays. What have you seen out of him?
Yeah, he's just continuing to get better and better. He made some plays week 1, and he's just continuing to make plays. We got to continue to harp. The big word for us right now is discipline, because on defense, you can have 10 guys do the right thing, 1 guy do the wrong thing, and it's 7 points. And so for us, it's just continuing to build that discipline throughout every position group. But Jordan's doing a great job. I think a lot of those D linemen, I referenced Tyler. Tyler got the sack. Jalen Durgan's doing a great job out there at that banded position. We've got the D line is a position where we have some really good depth and some old heads, with Maurice and Bubba being in there, and even Akil and Courtney being on the outside at the Wolf up front. We've got some depth and we've got some experience, and we've got to continue to allow those guys to make plays.
What does Northwestern State do?
They give you a lot. For their first 2 games, they got in 8 different personnel groupings. And so, for us, it's just going to be, getting our guys in the right position and making sure that we have our eyes in the right place on the back end and fitting the run. They want to run the ball. They ran the ball a lot against Tulsa. And so we want to make sure they hit some explosive runs there. They got a big 75 one down the sideline there out of a split zone. And so we just got to make sure we're doing our job and fitting our gaps with violence. That's what we've talked a lot about, is about being physical and being violent to stop the run. And then they opened up the game against Prairie View the other night with a max pro shot, and post safety jumped on the under route, and then the post was wide open. So just continuing with, again, going back to that word I mentioned earlier, discipline. If we can stay disciplined and do our job, I think we'll have a good chance to win the game.
The good I took away from the game is that I thought that we fought. I thought we fought all the way through. We had some key injuries going into the game, but that doesn't matter. We still found our way. We still was in the game in order to win it. So that was what I took away from the good. The bad, penalties. Penalties kill us. We got to get out of our way. I feel like the past 2 weeks we've been shooting ourselves in the foot a lot just off just penalties alone and just stupid decisions, honestly. If we can just cut that down, we'll be fine.
Of the attitude of the team. 0-2 obviously not where you want to be. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to faze you guys at this point.
Yes, sir. Honestly, just come to work and just do your job. Honestly, we have great coaches. Have a great coaching staff. Just have trust in your coaches. They put us in the right position. We just got to make the plays. Honestly, and like I said, we just cut back on penalties. I think we'll be fine.
In terms of getting off the field in those long drives, what you guys got to do better?
Our 2-minute drill this past Saturday, the 2-minute drill right before half. It all comes back to penalties, honestly. Just cut down on penalties. The 2-minute drill, we had 2 penalties on. We had a third down. We could have got off the field there. We just really just got to lock in and just execute. Execution, cutting down on penalties, just getting out of our way, really.
Feel good. I thought, last game we took a step as a team forward. Obviously you don't get the result that you like. Anybody wants. Nobody likes to lose. But as a team, you can see that we're growing from week 1 to week 2, and I'm excited to see how it looks week 3.
What did you see out of Bishop getting out there for the first time? Really?
It's the same thing I've seen, since he's been here. He's a guy that, he's has experience, especially where he used to be at. He started a few games for them. Bishop is a really good quarterback. I think what we've had the last few years, especially with Carter, Dez, we've had depth in the quarterback room. So it's not like, Gio's out, we all go to panic mode. But we were confident in Bishop, and Bishop showed a lot of good things.
Short week, how good is that after coming off of a loss?
There's ups and downs to it, body-wise. You got to prepare for that. And Applewhite, he's going to take care of us. He's already talked to us about that. And I think it is nice to have a short week to where, you can get that last game off your chest, especially going to this week. It's a quick turnaround. And I think, playing a team like this is a team that, they look at us 0-2. Oh, we have a chance. But the way we look at it is, like I said earlier, we've been growing. So I think this is another game that we can, step up and prove ourselves.